Didn't John Myers
range,
design that?
long range acoustic device.
Didn't Myers design that?
You know, the military has been using LRADs, you know, they put a lot of them actually on boats, right? So when they were having these issues with the pirates trying to come up next to, you know, a boat and board it, they would point this LRAD at them, and you know, all bets were off, because you're like, feels like your head's going to explode, and you know, your eyes are going to pop out. So that they are.
What a great idea, though.
Yeah,
That's a great idea for sure. And you know what's even a better idea? Welcome everybody to the 200 and whatever we have, 221 meetings. This is it. 221 in a meeting, thinking out loud with friends. Just going to say hi, everybody. I'm Jan Landy. Welcome. Thanks for sharing the show. Thanks for watching the show. And thanks for participating. If you want to be part of the panel, DM any one of us and we'll send you a link. And with that in mind, remember, everything you hear today is an opinion. And now we're going to go back to the show already in progress.
So everything is an opinion except for
my opinion is, Jan, you need to turn your mic.
Do the daylights out of Jan, but the rest of us, it's all off.
Yeah, Jan, can you turn your preamp down a little bit? Because
turn your preamp down a little bit. You are so overdriven.
Yeah, you're coming out as like a freight train.
Well, you know, that's let me see what I could do here.
And you're way louder than everybody else's too. But
oh wow, you're 100% correct. Somehow the volume went way.
There you go.
There you go.
That's lovely.
See, this is what we should have been doing in the pre-check, but I don't know why we didn't do it that way.
So you can actually, if
that's because you were playing with all your video effects. We were just watching.
Yeah, playing with the video effects. It's so much. It's so much. I mean, I'm using this app called Ecamm Live. Of course, I had to buy a brand new computer to be able to use it effectively. And now what I find is there's so much programming involved. I'm not so sure that I really want to spend all of the time in planning out all these different camera shots. But it's really cool. I mean, you know, with a click of a button, if I've done it right, I can actually change whatever I want to change. But anyway, there you go.
So Fred, did you go to France?
No, I was in Stanford.
Oh, okay. I saw a couple of pictures and I wondered if you were in France. I was going to say, downloaded some dirt, baby. But if you weren't there, you know, then you don't know. Unless you had friends that were there.
No, the only dirt is that COVID was running rampant through the building, and were making people wear masks. So in the
Connecticut?
factory, in Connecticut, yeah.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
Oh, where you
Stanford,
were?
Where I was, yeah. So in the hit factory,
it was even rampant in Paris.
Was it in Paris too? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
The U.S. sprinter got COVID. A couple of other people got COVID in the Olympic Village. Yeah, it was pretty widely spread.
What was the story I heard about the men's basketball team? They said they're not going to sleep on the cardboard beds.
Did anybody hear? Was there an issue about their quarters? I heard that somebody was skimping and people were pretty pissed off.
That's what I heard. Was
cardboard beds, no drapes, and yeah.
Really?
No air conditioning.
Oh, no air conditioning. Nice.
Well, what happened was it started out with no air conditioning because the French did not give anybody air conditioning, and then each country would do its own thing. So eventually, I'm sure our guys got air conditioning, but only after they had to deal with not having it.
Oh, wow.
Well, it would seem to me they could afford, you know, I mean, you look at the pro basketball team that was there, every one of them is a pro, you know, every one of them is making millions. I mean, LeBron James, he's not hurting for money, I would bet, or, you know, or Steph Curry, I'm sure he's not hurting for money, you know.
No, but this was supposed to be the ecological Olympics. They were trying to, you know, keep it green. So they didn't give anybody air conditioning. That was their reasoning. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh. It was a wonderful show. I mean, the closing ceremonies. Did anybody have any problem with hearing the audio in the closing ceremonies with the music?
Oh, I only heard the concerts, and the concerts.
Yeah, I thought it was terrible.
Yeah, but that was done in the U.S.
Yeah, Greg
And it was
hit me up about the lip sync issues, and I said, well, it's all good here in Stanford, but it probably just depends on what you're watching it on. And then I came home to watch primetime Sunday night. I got home in time to see about the last hour, and the lip sync was a half second off over the air. And I have 4 different brands of TV, so I checked it on my Samsung, checked it on the Vizio, checked it on the Sony. And they were all the same. And it was over the air broadcast, no streaming, no direct TV, no nothing. It was just direct antenna into the deal, and it was off. I couldn't believe it.
So is that your version of picture in picture? So you can watch.
What?
You can watch 4 games at the same time. Different games.
Oh, with the pips.
No, he said he had 4
Yes.
different TVs. I was wondering if they were stacked up, and it was his
No,
version.
just in different rooms. In different rooms, I have different models of TVs, so you can just because every TV has a different latency, right? So even though
Jan, you're getting awful artsy fartsy there.
look at what he's doing to us here.
You gotta love it, right? You gotta love it.
Uh-oh.
Welcome home.
I'm getting a hug here.
It's very creative. Oh, very good, very
Welcome
good.
home. Oh, we miss you.
Look at this craziness that they're doing to
Oh,
us.
this is cool.
Yeah.
I think we
So
should-
whenever anybody talks, they'll pop into the middle.
Hey, I don't see us.
Oh my God! Yeah, we can only see 1 of 3 of us. We should all like put our hands by Fred.
That's because he's got the blur on. He's blurring the background.
Oh,
Blur-
yeah,
blur
that's
you
why.
see how many women he has around
He
him?
has a harem.
We're all here to play.
We're all jealous of him anyway. Everybody's jealous of Fred. You know?
God, he sounds like a New Yorker. Jealous of
We're
him.
all
They're all
jealous
here to
of
play
him anyway.
mahjong with my
He's
wife.
a New Yorker, that guy.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, to me, the most outstanding thing about the Olympics was Snoop Dogg. I cannot believe this guy. He came out of nowhere, and he made $500,000 a day from NBC.
Yeah, he got
$500,000.
He got 15, and then he came back and did the Peppers concert out at Long Beach.
Yeah, and I thought the sound was horrible.
What, at the Peppers?
On the TV, I tried my best to.
Wow,
I tried
'cause
my best to
I
get it.
watched
vocals-
I watched
the
a
vocals were-
replay of it, and it was fantastic. Oh, there's Kurt. Hey, Kurt.
No, the vocals were hidden on that. They were way in the background. It was a terrible mix. I mean, when Billie Eilish and the Chili Peppers, their vocals weren't there. It was horrible.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that too, and I didn't like the mix either.
That's interesting because I don't think I watched it live. I watched a recording on YouTube, I think, and on that recording, the audio was fantastic. So maybe that's something to do with.
Can anybody explain to me, Billie Eilish, why she is such a huge star? Can anyone in this room explain that to me?
I can't. I don't know her music.
I can't explain why most of them are huge stars, to be very honest with you, but that's the whole different story.
Yeah, even Taylor Swift. I mean, I admire the production, everything, but her music just. I don't even know that I could hum a song from her. I just.
Well,
don't
I can hum
believe it.
2 of them for you, and I'm sure you really, I'm sure, I'm sure you, when you hear some of her music, I think her music is very poppy and I happen to like it. And I don't know one woman that in my life that doesn't just love Taylor Swift. And if it's just she has an amazing grasp on the demographics of teenage girls all the way up to women in their 80s.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, all the respect in the world, but I don't listen to radio. I mean, really.
I don't listen to music anymore at all, pretty much.
Oh, I listen.
Oh
to
my
music
God,
all
you
the
can't
time.
say that.
I do. I mean, I don't listen to it much.
I used to all the time, but I don't anymore.
What are you
Oh.
talking about? You're listening to music every night.
That's why I don't listen to it when I'm not working.
Pretty much. I got burned out of that a long time ago.
Oh, isn't that
Really,
interesting?
it reminds me of. I got to tell you something. This reminds me of the time when my friend Peter Scher was alive. Of course, he was the travel agent to Bon Jovi, and Bon Jovi was definitely my favorite act. Of all times. I love
He was good
the
in his
music.
time. He was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, uh, it was just like phenomenal. And we would go to the shows. And when we would go to the shows, we would hang out with the band and then they would get ready. These were the old days, when you can hang out with the band, and you'd hang out with the band and then you go into the production room when the band went on stage, you before the band goes on stage, you leave, the band does their thing, and then they go up on stage. And I would go into the production office with Peter, and all of a sudden one day I'm sitting there and I'm hearing the band through the walls and we're talking business, and I realized this is not why I got into the music business. I got in it for the music. And so I said, excuse me, guys, I gotta go. And I walked outside and I watched the band. And from then on in, that, when the band comes on, I'm out of the production side, I'm in the audience. And I'm walking around the room thinking, doesn't sound very good here. Oh, it sounds good here. I should go, and of course I learned my lesson. Keep your mouth shut. Two things when you're backstage: don't hit on any women and keep your mouth shut about what it sounds like. That's it. That's my advice.
Yeah, my son used to rag on me all the time. He says, I don't know anybody that has one of the most beautiful stereo systems in your house on the face of the earth, and you have a rockin' stereo in the car, and all you do is listen to podcasts and talk radio. He says,
that explains everything now.
You're
no,
embarrassing.
You gotta listen to more music.
He says, you're so embarrassing, Dad.
You're 100% correct. Tom Hopkins and Brian Tracy, these are my motivational guys. When I was, they said you should make your car a classroom. And that's why podcasts became so big for me. I was listening to motivational tapes, and I'd get out of the car and I'd ready to, kill. But the problem is now Bo does not speak much, enough English to be able to listen to the podcasts the way I do. And I'm guessing that you do it the same way I do, Bruce. You listen it to about 1.5 speed. You don't listen to it normal speed, right?
No, pretty much normal, because I listen to Sirius Radio a lot, and then if I'm listening to a podcast, sometimes if I'm running around doing stuff, I'll have it on my phone and I'll have wireless earbuds in so I can get out and go in stores and get gas and do whatever I have to do and not keep shutting it off all the time. So,
well, I got to tell you, there's an app called Overcast. It's basically free.
And you run it faster?
I listen to all my podcasts at least 1.5.
Really?
So that way I could listen to more podcasts. Otherwise, I'll never get through them all.
Yeah, I have a hard time getting through the, because almost every day stuff pops up and it's like, oh man, right. I don't have time to listen to that,
Well, the beautiful thing about Overcast, and it's designed by a guy named Marco Arman, and it is free. He just redesigned the app. What it does is it takes out the spaces, and I don't know how he does this, but he takes out the spaces between the words, so it moves very faster. And he can also make it at a faster speed. So I admit they do sound like chipmunks sometimes,
So can you put this app? This app is on your phone?
Oh yeah, it's called Overcast.
Cool. I'll write that down.
Overcast.
I'll go check it out. I'll check it out.
By Marco Arman. He's designed a lot of things. He was the guy, I believe, now you could stop me if I'm wrong, but he came up with the language Markdown, which everybody seems to be using these days. Instead of HTML code, they use Markdown. So anyway, by the way, I got something else for you, Bruce. It's called Listen Later. Listen Later. And what it is you go to any article that you want to, a written article, and you copy it and paste it into this website called Listen Later, and it gives you an audio podcast.
It plays it for you.
It plays it for you, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Listen Later, and it's free.
Wow, that's very cool.
I know I have it in my notes with the whatchamacallit, with the web link. I'll look for it when you guys are talking about something else. Well, I'm not monopolizing the show, but we haven't heard from Paul Kim. So Paul, come on, say something, anything.
Well, I did say something earlier.
You
Am
said
I
hi
on?
to me.
Yeah, I said hi to Bruce. No, actually, you people out there that actually love music, I really love my Spotify because you can collaborate your playlists,
Mhm.
and that's how you're able to turn each other on to music that you might not have heard, and love it.
Well,
I'm
Yeah,
listening to
Spotify's pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, I'm listening to stuff from the 60s and 70s that people are, sharing with me, that I didn't even know existed.
I'll be honest with you, where I use it the most, some of my people have their podcasts on Spotify, which really surprised me. But where I use it the most is for walk-in music, because I'll have the producers have their kids do a Spotify list and email it to me. And then when we get to the show, I just click on their email and I load, and then I have it to keep too, So sometimes people send me really good walk-in lists,
Yeah,
You
I
know,
really,
speaking of walk-in lists, Robert Scoville, he has collected everybody's, well, not everybody, but a lot of
Everybody he's
major
worked for.
engineers walk-in playlists, right, right? Greg,
I have like 6 gig hard drive in my computer bag with music that I've been building for years and years and years, and now a lot of it's on Spotify. But
Well,
yeah,
if
I can
you
relate.
if you go to Spotify and search for Scoville, you'll see his playlist from walk-in list from all the tours that he did.
Oh
So-
wow, he's on Spotify then. Wow.
Well, he doesn't use it at professionally. He just has it there for here's my walk-in tapes.
Wonder why he
You know.
well,
just
what
doesn't
we
use
could
it.
do as a group, because I have YouTube Music, which I really love, and YouTube Music, rather than giving other people giving me input, they listen to what I listen to, and then they put together playlists for me of things that they would think that I would like. And most of the time, it's pretty good, except Bo listens to the music more than I do. So I'm hearing more of what kind of music that she wants to listen to than what I want to listen to. But I would love to get a Spotify thing, subscription as well. But I found out
It's free.
one.
It's free
Well,
unless you
it's not
want to
if
get
you
rid of
don't
all the
want
commercials. Right. It's $10
So
a
we could-
month if you.
No, I think for a family plan, it's like $14, $16,
yeah, it's like 6
and
or 15
you don't
bucks.
have to live in the same house. You can live anywhere in the world. So, if anybody wants to do that and join in with me, hey, $2 a month, we could save some money.
Has-
Because I know we're all hurting for money right now. Us engineers, or us people in this
Speaking of
industry.
engineers, I'm enjoying Kurt's viewpoint right now of Gamble number 38. He is
Yep.
right there in Bend, Oregon.
Bend.
Yeah, no, it looks
Let's
pretty
see
cool.
if I can
saw
find
they
him.
had a sax
There he
solo
is.
a minute
Let's.
ago.
Oh, man, isn't that nice?
All right, we're all looking at him now.
Yeah, we're looking
I
at
can
it.
see his hands. I could see
Yeah.
he's manicured his hands for the show. I love it. So he knew that we were going to be.
Oh, there's that
Focusing
serious
in.
don't screw with me look right there. Did you see
Oh,
that? Oh, baby. Oh, look at it. Jeez.
Is the show on right now? Are those real people, or is that
Oh yeah, no, that
artificial
the show's on.
intelligence?
It looks.
Is
Oh,
that
no,
CGI
he-
we're watching?
No. I watched the LED screen. They had a sax solo. You can see the meters in the center of the console. They're moving. No. There's a band up there playing right now.
What a
Oh,
beautiful
very, very
rig.
good. I think we're talking too loud. Let's whisper. All right.
Well, either that or he's changing his reverb with pounding a thing so it goes to the beat. What's that called?
Yeah.
Tempo.
Oh no,
Tap,
Oh, wow, look,
tap
okay,
tempo.
look
Yeah,
on the
tap
screen.
tempo.
check
There is
out
a
the
band
LED
playing.
screen
Look
up
at
on
the large
left there.
screen on the left, right over his right shoulder.
Yeah. We got the rhythm guitarist there. No. They're definitely playing. I don't know who that is, but
What's the sign say over the stage there? It says something.
Like
Oh.
Buttercup
The
or
video,
something.
the video wall. Is that a video wall hanging off that truss?
Is that a gamble console there?
Yes.
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 it is.
Isn't it? It's so gorgeous console, man.
Yeah,
Bombardo.
he's really refurbished all of them. I mean, I mean, where was he when Jim Gamble was just getting started? We'd all be mixing on Jim Gamble stuff.
Oh,
It's
Is that
reggae.
reggae?
It's reggae.
Yeah, I thought it sounded like "Beat It" by Michael Jackson, but it wasn't.
Sounds like
Or
reggae.
maybe it is. Who knows?
No, it's definitely reggae.
Well, very good. Anyway,
Interestingly, his faders are well above unity there. That's interesting.
They do look pretty high.
I'll tell you, one of the main motivating factors to get me out of the studio was about 2 weeks of doing a demo for a really bad reggae band. And after about a week and a half, I said, man, I can't do this anymore.
Well, as a drummer, I will tell you that reggae is probably one of the hardest types of music to play because
oh man.
Well, it's very simple actually. If you want to have a tight band, you have to practice all of the subdivisions of the time that you're in. So if you're playing 90 BPM and you want to go to a shuffle, that's 134, right? I mean, it's half 135, 90 plus half, 50% faster when you go to shuffle. Then you can drop back down and all of these different subdivisions of 90. And the reggae guys have an absolutely meticulous triplet subdivision for either quarter notes, eighth notes, or 16th notes. Their subdivisions are fucking clock on atomic perfect.
Do you think it's
on the good bands? Like if you go back and
do you think it's built into the DNA of Jamaican people?
No, I've heard some great reggae drummers that are like from Brazil and
wow,
and all over the place, but it just requires
All right. As a drummer, I want to ask you this because in regards to reggae music, is it a prerequisite in order to play reggae music that you have to smoke pot?
Not at all. You just have to have a good one drop. That's it. And
all right.
It's not pot. It's ganja, man.
Ganja.
Is it a
down to the nightclub for some Budweiser, man.
Good reggae music is great, but bad reggae music is just unlistenable.
Oh, it is. Well, bad music is bad music.
Yeah, but bad reggae is like rolling garbage cans down the road and banging on them with sticks. It's just terrible.
I kind of feel the same way about death metal.
Well, I'm not a fan of that either. Screaming and hollering and being pissed off.
Speaking of drumming,
one real reggae band, and that's Bob Marley.
Well,
what about Ziggy Marley?
Fantastic. Steel Pulse. That was a great reggae band from the 80s.
I have a couple of their CDs. Yeah.
Steel Pulse was awesome. Sly and Robbie. There's Alpha Blondie. There are some really good reggae guys out there, but to play that music correctly, you really have to be in the pocket, like logarithmic.
Wow.
What was that band that played I smoked two joints before I smoked two joints? That reggae band. I love that song. That's a great song. You guys familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's from the 80s.
Well, that's where I'm from.
I can't
I don't know that.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I don't know that track.
Oh, you don't?
Oh
you've
my
never
God,
heard that track?
It's hilarious. It's phenomenal.
I smoke two joints in the morning, and I smoke two joints at night, and then I smoke two more.
Yeah. It's amazing how much pot this guy could smoke, but that was before the THC really got high, and it was like the 80s, like he says.
I saw Yellow Man, and so all the lights are out, and you see this small light moving around on stage, and they kind of bring the lights up, and Yellow Man has this fucking cone joint the size of Texas, and there's they didn't even need smoke machines. They didn't need smoke machines. This guy just kind of walked around the stage and was just blowing his lungs out, and there was no movement of air. And he had a great.
Where did I hear? I heard this somewhere, and I don't remember where, but that Justin Bieber, they had to land the plane because they were smoking so much pot in the back of the plane that the pilot couldn't continue.
That was
No,
last week.
his dad and Bieber were in the back, and the pilots had to put on their oxygen masks, and it was investigated. Nothing happened. But here's a great Yellow Man lyric. If all the girls live across the sea, if all the girls live across the sea, what a great swimmer Yellow Man would be.
I think we would all be great swimmers at that point in time. You know? Hey, by
No,
the way, another tip I want to give you guys, and especially you, Chris. And I think Greg was in the room, and I know David was in the room for Robert Scoville's show last week. And there's this guy named Dave Hamilton who has he's a podcaster, and he's also a drummer. And so he interviewed Robert Scoville. It was a really great in-depth interview. I listened to about half of it, and I said I always get back to it. I got to get back to listening, but it was really good, and he's very good at what he does. He has a show called Matt Geek Gab, Matt Brain Gab. And anyway, he was in the room, and they were talking about all this drumming stuff. Greg, you were in the room, right?
Yeah. It was a good. Well, that whole podcast that he did, blog, whatever you want to call it, that was really well done. And the drumming stuff was just over my head. I just know enough to
be dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I thought you would have been great in that.
First off,
I thought you would have been great in that
okay.
atmosphere because you know your stuff, you know your sound, and you also know drums. So you really could have added some input into that conversation.
Yeah.
I've got Sonar drums, SQ2s, and I've got Earthworks mics.
Are your Sonars fiberglass or are they wood?
I have SQ2s. They take forever to get. So
I'm not familiar with the models at all.
Yeah, so they offer a very, very large menu of materials. When you get to the highest end,
oh really?
You can select how many plies, what kind of wood, what kind of finish. So I did medium maple for all of the shells of the toms, and then I did heavy, which is like 8 plies for the kick drum, because the more plies you have, the better it is for bass response. And man, I am telling you, they sound, God, it's just amazing. I mean, it is seriously amazing. But I'm in a very small rehearsal space, so I actually don't even have a snare mic. I just, the overheads and all the other mics are picking up the snare, so why bother in such a small space?
Yeah.
But, what kind of music do you play?
Oh wow, kind of everything. I started off playing jazz, then I got into African music and reggae, then jazz, then jazz fusion, then African music and reggae, then a lot into funk, and then rock and roll, and now I'm kind of more, gosh, I don't really know. I mean, I really like Gavin Harrison from Porcupine Tree. Particularly his, I've been working a lot on odd time, so 7/4, and so I've got 7/4 now, feels quite natural, and I'm working on 9/4, and boy, that one extra note instead of one less per measure is a complete mind fuck.
So you're really
I find
versatile.
that 9/4, that there are certain things in 9, like the Crunge by Led Zeppelin and Jeff Beck. Space Boogie, those are in 9, and those feel kind of natural, but there are some Gavin Harrison stuff that he's done in 9 that is just like so counterintuitive. It's mind blowing.
That's considered a odd time signature, though, right? 9/4.
Yeah, anything where the numerator is an odd number, excepting 3. Because 3/4 is just a waltz, pop pop, pop pop, pop pop. So 3/4 is pretty simple. 4/4 is obvious. 5/4, 7 Days by Sting, probably the most famous song in 5/4, and then Take 5 in 5/4, and then 6/4 that's just a bar and a half. So that's just kind of like blues. 7, that starts to get interesting. 1 less note than 8. 8 is just 2 bars of 4/4, and then 9. And that's kind of as far as I've gotten. I've heard drummers, playing. I mean, Vinny can just play 17, without even thinking about it. I mean, the dude's nuts.
Chris, isn't 6/4 African also?
No, 6/4 is just like a rolling blues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's just kind of, if you double that, then you would get 12 bars, I mean, it just, the 6/4 really isn't,
Yeah, but isn't the African stuff like that? That's kind of
yeah, I guess, that's arguably right, but that's really almost like 2 bars a waltz, because the African guys are going. Particularly in Madagascar, that's the beat, right? I mean, they don't play 4/4 at all. It's all 3s. Everything's in 3. And and if you play 2 bars of 3, well, that's 6. So but it has a much different feel than 4/4 with an extra 2 notes.
Right.
One of my favorite drummers right now is Billy Cobham.
Oh, Billy Cobham.
He's been so great for a long time.
Dude, I saw Billy Cobham at the NAMM show, and it was insane. So he's sitting there, he's just hammering. I mean, the dude is just amazing. And the guy's like, hey, can you
He's
play?
old now.
Yeah, no, but this was back in the 90s. The guy's like, dude, can you not play so loud? And he goes like, oh yeah. And he's like right in the middle of something, and he just turned off the volume without losing 1 beat, and he was just doing the most insane foot pedal work, just feathering it. Man.
So when I used to do some gigs occasionally at the Golden Bear in Huntington Beach, and Lee Ritenour would play in there with Billy Cobham on drums, and oh my God, I would have done the show for free.
Oh yeah, no. I used to go.
I could not get enough. I had all of Lee Ritenour's albums, and Dave Grusin and a lot of those guys. I just love those guys. They were wonderful.
My dad used to take me to Dante's, all the time, and the Baked Potato.
Oh, the Baked Potato, yes, Baked Potato.
Don Randy, but I mean, he owned the joint. I mean, that was a pretty good deal, right? The drummer owned the joint. He had his own band called Don Randy and Quest, and
he played with some famous people through the years too.
Sure. And whenever they couldn't, we'll just put the house band on, and that place was awesome.
So I have to tell you, it totally off of what Baked Potato used to do, but you remember Cream, right? With Eric Clapton and Ginger Baker, right? I was a major Cream fan.
Who can forget that?
When I was in junior high, the end of junior high school, man, I was just a Cream head. That was terrible. So, come to find out, one night I got an email from them, and Cream tribute band was playing, and I thought, well, that was interesting. So I looked it up, and the drummer was Ginger Baker's son, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be good. So I got tickets, and I took my wife, who was my girlfriend then, and we went to see it. And it was 3 guys, and it was Ginger Baker's kid, and I don't remember their names, but it was just like sitting listening to Cream, and I was like, I just closed my eyes, and it was like, oh my God, this is so good to be true. I never heard from them again. It was really a one-shot thing. I don't know where they, I don't know what they ever did, but it was absolutely wonderful.
Who else
Ginger had to quit playing because his heart, but I'll show you, my heart chart is absolutely stunning. How drumming does in your heartbeat. Here, go ahead and talk. I'll find it. I'll show you my graph here in a minute.
It does something to your heartbeat?
It is exceptional for your heart rate.
Good for you or not so good for you?
Very good.
Yeah.
So here.
Well, that
while he's doing that, while he's looking for that.
I'm 61, so check out that heart rate there. Can you guys see it?
Wow.
Anywhere
42 to 207.
Yeah, but every day for the last year.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I played the drums in high school, and I'll tell you, that's what kept me sane. You know? I call myself a closet drummer now. I don't play in front of anybody.
You know,
I don't even have a
now-
set anymore, but
now what I do whenever I don't like somebody and they have a kid, as a gift for a 4-year-old, I buy him a drum kit. That's
Drums.
it. You send them up. You know, it's, if I don't like you, you get it.
Oh,
That's what
man.
I buy you for a gift. You know,
You wanna
all kidding
torture 'em.
aside, though, if I was watching YouTube, and you guys know who Rick Beato is?
yes,
Yes.
not
Rick
cool
Beato.
guy.
Well,
Oh,
he
Rick Beato.
interviewed Rick Beato,
Beato.
that's his name.
Beato, yeah.
And he interviewed all the 3 members of the police.
Police.
And
Yes.
I muscled through Andy, the guitar player, but Stuart Copeland was so brilliant.
He's brilliant.
I just couldn't stop listening and watching that the Stuart Copeland. He was just amazing, just
And
absolutely
it's
amazing.
also amazing that he's as good as he is, because he didn't even start out as a drummer. He didn't even want to play the drums in the beginning. I mean, if you look
No,
at his
he was-
history,
He grew up in Lebanon. His dad was in the CIA, and so he moved around a lot. And he is one of my strongest influences when I was growing up. I mean, that guy is an insane drummer. His brother Miles managed the police, right? Started IRS Records.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, what a
yeah, he's great.
and
love
I'm
that
telling you
they-
that guy could play fast. I mean, you go back and listen to the police live concerts. He's playing anywhere from 130 to 150 BPM and rocking it for
Yeah.
90 minutes straight.
I was friends with the other brother, Ian, who was the manager.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
with the agent. Ian Copeland was the agent. He was a cool guy, man. By the way, I don't know if you remember who Larry Vallon is. Anybody remember Larry Vallon? Anyway, he passed away. He was like 78, I think, but I believe. But anyway, he was a concert promoter. Nice guy, super nice guy. At least at one point in his life, he was. I don't
No,
remember.
I had buddies that were working at IRS back when I was working at William Morris, and that was those guys were insane. They're amazing, and I just had to laugh, when Sting, I think, was on. He was interviewed with Dominic, right, and they basically said at one point, well, we just all suck compared to Bach, which I just thought was a great line.
Yeah. Well, it's supposedly, the inner workings of the band. I think Sting was the one that was giving them the most problems of the other two. He became a perfectionist towards the end. And they
Yeah, I
say
mean-
that he had to practice. His bass lines were so complex that he had to practice them so he could sing along, because it was
Correct.
too complicated for him to sing while
Yep.
playing the bass, because it was too much work for him.
Yeah, that was one of the most notable things of that interview was that, yeah, he I mean, and his I think Sting is not nearly recognized enough for his bass playing. I mean, that guy was a seriously talented bass player, and and then obviously as a vocalist, he's insane. As a writer, he's insane. But yeah, I mean, his bass playing was awesome.
The level
Well, he
42
did pretty
guy is
good
a
for
really
himself.
good bass player too. I can't remember his
he
name.
did pretty good for himself. Sting did pretty good. I mean, anybody who's when you just have to mention their first name and you know who they are, they did pretty good for themselves.
Like Prince.
Prince.
Yeah. Prince
That's
is
a
one.
name.
I mean, you
Prince.
could think of another ones, If I said
Prince.
Michael, who would you guys think of? If I said the word Michael?
MJ.
No, I was thinking Michael
Bublé.
McDonald, but that's all right. No, you got it wrong. It's right. But it proves you're thinking. That's all.
You know who else did
No,
well
actually.
was Jason Bonham. He turned out to be a pretty good drummer too.
Right. He played
Absolutely.
Stairway to Heaven with Heart when they got inducted into the Rock and Roll or the Smithsonian or whatever. Obama was at that concert, but yeah, that version of Stairway to Heaven was amazing, by the way.
Now, I would have to say my favorite drummer of all time, other than Christopher Coos, who's in the room. Other than that, no, Keith Moon for sure. I was a huge fan of The Who, and I thought his drumming was spectacular.
Moon was insane, highly unregulated, but insane.
I liked Carlos Vega, and who was the guy that the Latin guy that played on a lot of the Steely Dan stuff. Oh shit. Carlos Vega played with James Taylor a lot, and he was really great too. Oh damn.
I'm trying to think of
come on, Chris, name some drummers that played for Steely Dan.
Well, the one that I want to name is Vinny, but it turns out that Vinny only played one
song, right? One song. Yeah.
Which is, the reggae kind of sounding thing off of oh shit, I can't think of it. But yeah, I mean Steely Dan, I mean all of the drumming, the Bernard Purdy and all of that stuff.
Oh, he was great too. Yeah. I'll find him.
Yeah. I mean, another guy that you think of that, you only have to mention his first name is Ringo. Anybody who says Ringo, boom, right where he, they're talking about Ringo Starr. I love the fact that our artists could be like that, like Cher, there's only one Cher,
Ringo never played the wrong beat. Defy it. I defy you to show me a Beatles track where he played the wrong part. The guy was absolutely amazing at figuring out precisely what the minimalistic beat was for the song, and then that was it. And man, he was amazing.
Steve Gadd.
Oh yeah, Steve Gadd.
I always liked Neil Peart too, but Steve Gadd was one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, Steve Gadd shreds.
Scary stuff.
Dave Weckl.
Oh, Weckle's
Dave
great
Weckl.
too. I've seen Weckl play many times, and he's pretty amazing.
I saw Weckl with the Chick Corea Electric Band, and John Patitucci on bass.
What a pair!
So something to behold with Dave Weckl on drums. But
they connect.
But Weckl is Weckl's this kind of enigma because he's so good and he can articulate any rhythm that he wants, and it's almost like he becomes a little bit sterile when he's just flailing on 64th note triplets and doing all of this stuff. I mean, it almost lacks. Whereas Gadd was, definitely in the pocket going.
Oh, Gadd has so much feeling. Oh my God, you could feel everything Steve Gadd did. It was just, he amazed me.
So now so I'm going to bring it back to something you all said earlier. If you love music so much, how could you not be listening to it?
Because I would listen to all the old stuff if I was listening to stuff. Because I have tons of Jean-Luc Ponty and I love Jean-Luc.
But Bruce, if you haven't listened to it remastered, you don't know what you're missing. I mean, you listen to the Beatles remastered. It's a mind blowing. It's like you're hearing it for the first time.
Especially with good headphones on or something. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I listened to the Beatles remastered on this system behind me, and I played it for my buddy Curtis, who's guitarist, and we listened to a couple of tracks, and he was just floored by all of the minute detail that they captured in those recordings. It was unbelievable.
I always liked,
and it was all 4-track.
And they ping-ponged everything. They bounced everything.
Yeah. Oh, Wayne has something to say. Wait, what was it?
Wait, stop.
Jeff Porcaro.
Everybody, hold on.
Oh,
Wayne's in the room.
Porcaro's great too. Oh man.
Wayne, you missed your moment. That's it. You're gone.
No,
Cut him off.
he said Jeff Porcaro. So Porcaro's
Oh yeah,
great.
no, even Picaro's work with Steely Dan was insane.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Wow. Gaucho. I mean, the stuff that he did on Gaucho was.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you never realize how important the drum is. The drummer is.
Well, the
until
bass
you're in a
player and the
band.
drummer, if they're not connected, it ain't gonna work.
I think the rhythm section is super important. It just drives it forward.
Especially in a three-piece band. You take a three-piece band again, Sting or ZZ Top, those three-piece bands. Now, I believe, if I'm not wrong, isn't Rush a three-piece band as well?
Yes.
Rush three-piece band, Chili Peppers.
Oh,
and-
Satriani
God.
too. Listen to Satriani's stuff is just unbelievable. I'm just
Oh,
such
yeah.
a Satriani fan.
And
Because the
Jeff-
drum
and
has to
Jeff
fill
Beck,
up the
when he
sound.
was Jeff Beck when he was playing with that young girl bassist. Her name escapes me. She's amazing.
It starts with a T.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, but she was she played on Jeff Beck's live tour for a while, and wow, she was just mind-blowingly good. And it was actually Vinny on drums, and she was on bass, and Jeff on guitar. Wow, yeah.
What about Vaughn?
Hey, what do you guys think of Fish? What do you think of that? What do you think of that band Fish?
They're great.
Right?
They're amazing.
So,
Have you guys heard Dirty Loops?
Oh hell yeah! I'm a huge fan.
Oh my God, I could sit and watch them live play for hours. They are so great.
I'm telling you, man, Jonas, the guy Jonas, that's the lead singer, is got like almost a 4-octave range.
Have you seen him do Michael Jackson stuff? He did a tribute thing, and he with the orchestra.
No, so that was the record that that Corey Wong financed.
Corey Wong, he's a great guitar player.
Yeah, so Corey financed the album Turbo, upon which they collaborated, and there was kind of an interesting interview with Beato and Dirty Loops. Dirty Loops never met Corey Wong, so if you go back and watch that, if you go back and watch the video carefully, it is split and it's glued together in the center, and it was all collaborative. They actually did all the horn work, all the guitar work was done with Corey Wong in the US, and these guys were like over in Sweden doing their thing, and they glued the video together.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so they've actually never met, but the
three of those guys together are scary.
Oh,
the drummer
Henrik, the bass player.
Oh my God, he blows me away.
Unbelievable. And then the drummer
if you guys aren't familiar with Dirty Loops, you got to watch a couple of their videos of them playing, because you'll just be blown away. These guys are so amazing.
And Jacob Collier. So I went to see Jacob Collier at the Greek. I was literally Curtis, my friend. We were right in front, and wow, Jacob Collier.
I got to write that one down. Jacob Collier.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
You talked about it once before. I got to listen to him. This guy he's got a great voice. He's not a drummer though. He's a great voice.
No, he's he plays everything. He's a multi-instrumentalist, and he's won like 2 or 3 Grammys typically for best a cappella performance. He did the Flintstones a cappella.
Right, that's what I listened to, the Flintstones.
The Flintstones. So he breaks his screen into 12 squares, and he's singing multi-part harmony.
Oh my goodness, how cool!
And so he wanted.
And he dresses in each scene. He dresses in the character. He's one scene. He's Fred Flintstone, Wilma, Barney, Dino. He's amazing. The Dino, his impersonation of Dino is off the hook. Off the hook, I tell you.
But Jacob, I mean, I have quite a good drum educator, and my drum teacher's like, yeah, a guy like that comes along every 300 years. Every 300.
Tal Wilkenfeld.
Sorry,
talking about Jeff Beck.
Tal
Wilkenfeld.
That's it. Yes. Check out when they do that Freeway Jam with Tal, Jeff Beck, and Vinny on drums. Oh, holy smokes, man! You like Lee Ritenour? Definitely want to check that one out. It'll blow your mind.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Has anybody heard of Andy Timmons?
No.
Player?
It's familiar. What
Dude,
is
that guy is amazing.
How do I know that name?
I don't
If
know.
I knew, then I would know too much about you. And you don't want me to know that.
Well, if you ever get a chance, you got to listen to his stuff. It's amazing.
Whoa. I think Kurt wants to say something. I think Kurt is looking at the camera right now. Kurt, are you there?
He told the band to stop so that he could talk.
It's probably still pretty loud here.
What was the name of the band that was playing?
What were they? What were they called? Bob Bago.
Bob Bago. Well, they look pretty good. They look like they were really moving the crowd.
Was it reggae? It was reggae, right?
No, it was kind of pop reggae-ish stuff. It was really good.
What do they call that? Ska?
No, ska is
Kind of like Canadian ska.
Yeah. Canadian ska. There you go.
Bombargo with an arm. Bombargo. They were fun to mix. It was great.
We were all watching you mix, and we were very impressed. Somebody had a question about your fader positioning.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh no, I was
Paul?
just noticing that your faders seem to be above unity and on the center there.
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's another guy who's the direct support, and he parked the vocal subgroup right there. So I didn't want to change it on him.
Okay.
Good eye there, Chris. Good eye. Good eye.
That's a
You
nice
can go above
console, by the
unity.
way.
On this console, you push it and it sounds good. It's not like a digital piece of garbage.
Yeah. It's that
Now
soft.
that board has a lot of headroom.
It's an analog soft clip, right?
Yeah, well, with 24-volt rails, this thing has got headroom for days.
For days, yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Oh,
Who's
man.
the headlining act tonight? Who's the headlining act there?
Michael Fronte. It's cool.
Okay, Michael
That's kind of
Fronte.
more like reggae, but it's all like a really good vibe, positive message kind of thing. We could use some of that these days, I think.
Oh man, I think there's a lot of good news coming our way. Everything is going. I mean, at least it appears that way. That things are getting more and more positive in the world, especially like we're hoping for the best, the peace in the Middle East, peace in America, peace everywhere. I just want to get a piece myself. That's all it is to it. And then we could all be happy.
A piece of the action, Jan.
That's it. A piece of the action.
Oh, come on, Jan. Look where you are. You're one lucky dude.
Well, luck is when opportunity meets preparedness.
And you're smart enough to grab it when it goes by. Yes.
That's right. Just remember, you make it happen. That's what I've been saying to you. I'm taking my own advice. Right, Paul?
That's right.
People used to tell me all the time, you're so lucky. And I said, luck has got a little to do with it, but not that much. I says, you have to put yourself in positions for luck to go by. And then you gotta see it and grab it when it goes by so it doesn't pass you by. And I said, that's what it's all about, man. If you don't put yourself in positions, for that to happen, then you're never going to get there.
I agree with you completely. The other thing I will say on a physiologically or psychological state of mind, the only thing, and I believe this truly, and I've been living this my whole entire adult life once I became smart enough to think about it, is that the only thing I'm really in control of is how I react to what happens to me.
Yes,
that's
how you
it,
react.
And you could take it positive, you could take it negative, but I really think right now that if we don't go to war in the Middle East, then everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be great. So I was talking to somebody today on YouTube because I was watching this John Oliver thing about the Middle East, and they have a different opinion than I do, but we were able to really come together where we both agreed that what the world needs is peace. And that was a great moment. a great moment for all of us. So what we need is peace. You know, I'll tell you, speaking, going back to the Olympics, the most moving part for me of the entire Olympics was the opening ceremonies, and we talked about this before, where the piano player and a singer were floating down the Seine River, and they was doing Imagine by John Lennon. And it brought tears to my eyes. Absolutely. So if you want to YouTube that, I'm sure it's on YouTube. It's just as moving as can be. You know, it's really a moving moment.
I thought
Anyway.
Scotty Scheffler was amazing. Scheffler, sorry, the U.S. golfer that won gold.
He started crying, right?
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, his play. I mean, if you go back and look at the highlights of his round, was just mind blowing. Yeah, and then he won it all, and then he lost it when he got his medal. But you know, who wouldn't? That was an amazing moment. Absolutely.
I felt that exact same way when I was watching the paint dry on my wall the other day.
Well, maybe
speaking of golf.
You know, the weird
Speaking
thing
of golf,
as far as the Olympics is concerned, there's so much of it that we don't get to see here in the U.S.
Oh God, yes.
It's amazing how many others. I was watching sailing and kite surfing and God, what are
well, they were.
What about breakdancing? They had breakdancing.
Wapu.
Breakdancing.
The breakdancing.
Oh yeah, the Australian or New Zealand breakdancer was amazing, but the surfing out at Tiawapu was insane.
Yeah.
The dude from Brazil. Just
that picture is just amazing.
Yeah,
amazing picture.
But before that, he's so far back in the barrel that you just don't think it, and then he just gets spit out and he flies over the lip, and that's when they snap that photo. But man, what a break! I mean, Tiawapu.
That photo was not Photoshop. That is an actual photo.
Not at all. No. If you watch the video, you can see when it happens. You know, you can see at the exact moment the guy clicked, you know, the shutter. But the dude was so far back in the barrel and just in the green room, and then gets spit out. Wow, yeah, that was stunning.
Somebody told me that somewhere they use. See, Kurt. Somebody told me they use drones.
Bye, Kurt.
They use drones to pull the water
Kurt,
ski.
call me. I need to talk to you.
Through the barrel.
Well, they've got guys underwater. I mean, the problem is that the lip at Tiawapu is, you know, really heavy. So it's not like you can just swim around out there with a camera and not get killed.
Yeah, no, but I just never heard of a surfer being towed like a water skier through those big deals by these huge drones now these days. They're using a drone to pull the guy like a boat that's pulling a water skier.
Oh, that I
no way.
Seen.
That's what I was told. There's some place that's a new thing with surfing. They can get so far back in the pocket because they're being pulled on a rope like a water skier.
Yeah, I mean, these guys get pulled in by jet skis a lot. I mean, because simply it's too hard to paddle. You can't even get up to speed to catch some of these waves. And I'm sure Wayne can jump in here, but there's a great document. Did you ever see the documentary about the guy that free soloed El Capitan called Free Solo? Okay, so there is a surfing movie that is an absolute equivalent of that called Facing Monsters. And if you haven't seen Facing Monsters and you like surfing, it is absolutely the most insane surf film I think I have ever seen in terms of large wave surfing. It's two Australian brothers that with their dad and the whole family, and they do this documentary of them going around Australia trying to find the most insane waves. And these dudes are surfing places that no other human has ever surfed. And one of the brothers is driving the jet ski and the other brother surfs, but you know, both parts are so important because the jet ski is also the guy that comes and gets you if you're down. and it's stunning. It is as stunning as Free Solo.
Amazing. Another great film is Endless Summer. All right, if you like surfing.
Oh, Endless Summer.
There you go.
What was the motorcycle film?
Easy Rider.
No, with the motocross. The same surf guy, I think, did a motocross.
Yeah, isn't it the same guy? And he does the skiing videos as well, right?
Yeah,
skiing movies.
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you the one right now that's on Netflix is called Skywalkers, a love story. Have any of you seen that yet?
No.
Holy Jesus! It's about this guy that scales the tall buildings around the world.
Oh yeah. I heard about it.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Woo!
A resident film critic, David Dansky, he sees everything. What do you think, Dave?
I just saw one about 4 Hawaiian teenage girls who joined the pro tour, and they live in the Hawaii North Shore, so they practice on Sunset Beach and on the pipeline and stuff.
Gorgeous Sunset Beach.
They were getting recognized and sponsors, and it was one season of contests of the 4 girls, season 1, and it was fascinating because they're 17 and 16, and they're fucking awesome surfers, and they're doing the pipeline, the most dangerous one in the world, or one of them, and one of them won the title last year, the Queen of the Pipeline. So it was a fascinating movie to watch. Something to watch on the bus. Yep.
Other places, Mavericks. I was out at Mavericks one day. A buddy of mine had a house down at Half Moon Bay, and when Mavericks is happening, it can be one of the most dangerous and one of the most large wave surfing, other than that place off in Portugal, which is its own thing. But Mavericks is wild, man. If you go,
speaking of Maverick, I know that has nothing to do with what you were just talking about, but did you see the Tom Cruise jump from the top of the stadium?
Oh yeah, that dude's amazing.
What'd you think of that? What'd you guys think of that?
I missed it.
I mean, he's cabled and all of it, but that requires you got to have a pair. You just don't step off that thing without a pair. The guy's
how about his jumping the motorcycle off the cliff?
Oh,
there was no cables on that, man. He did that.
Oh no, and
he did that like 3 times.
No, more than that.
Off the cliff is nothing compared to when he's doing the parachute stuff.
Oh,
I mean, that is some of the most insane filming and that guy's just flying solo, going down.
Did you see him take Gordon up? Did you see him take James Corden up?
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
That was hysterical.
That was hilarious. Yeah, when James Corden was doing the late night show. Yeah, that was very, very funny. But I thought, it's like, you talked about that scene from Mission Impossible, and the reality was, I thought it was so overblown because it was an amazing stunt. But for what reason?
Oh well, it's all just gratuitous violence, gratuitous stunts. It's all about.
Well, he was being chased, wasn't he? Wasn't he being chased and he ran out of ground?
No, it's the other way around. He had to get on the train. He had to get on the train,
that was
and
the
only
train
way he
one.
could get on the
Yeah.
That's the only way he could do it, by getting on the train. Anyway, we're getting to the point where we've been on live for about an hour now. So if there's anything that anybody has to say before we say goodbye to the listening audience, remember to click the like button. I think I have something here that says click the like button. If I could find it, it would be great. But I don't know. I don't feel like looking for it. Next week, I'll have a little bit more. No, I won't. I'll be in Bangkok next week. So I'll be in a hotel room in Bangkok. I don't know if I'll be able to even use my graphics, which, of course, I used only in the beginning of the show. You have to watch. Anyway, anybody have anything they want to say to the people before we say goodbye to them and stick in the room and talk about those people?
Oh,
Wayne, how do you say goodbye in Australia?
Goodbye.
Well, with that, how could you top that? Remember, you make it happen. Share the show, like the show, and tune in next week, same time for the 200 and what is it? 203rd.
22.
Yeah, whatever it is.
222. Room
whatever it is.
222
Long time.
next week. We can get the theme song. We'll fish that out. Room 222.
Very, very excellent. Very, very
Yeah.
excellent. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Remember, you make it happen. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, let's all, when next time you have a drink and you toast, say, "Here's to world peace," and hope that somebody's listening. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, be safe and take care. See you again next week. Bye. And with that, we are now off